Hello, welcome to the No Rest for the Vivi podcast. My name is Claire Hill and I am the founder of the Vivi Business Club as well as being a self-belief coach. I teach you how to 10x your self-belief in 7 easy steps. Are they easy? Well, I'll tell you what, you can decide them to be easy because this podcast is all about the fact that you get to decide to change. You get to decide to write the next chapter. Now, before I tell you all about that, you know what's coming if you follow and subscribe to this podcast already, because you've already heard the message, because you've clicked the button. I would love it if you could follow or subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen, because it helps me grow the podcast massively. And I'd love you to share this podcast. Now, the thing with this episode is going to be a little bit of a slap around the face. It's going to be a bit savage in places. But if you think somebody can take it and I can say what you've been trying to say to them for ages, just forward it to them. Let's share the generosity of this one. How brilliant is it that we get to listen and be part of this podcast world, and I get to go into your ears for free? It's bloody brilliant. So today I am talking about deciding to change. And the reason why, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm moving my eyes around, aren't I? Because I have got notes. Check me out, being a prepared bowler. Because I have big plans for this podcast, and I am going to be very much more intentional with the podcast and how I show up for you. So if you've only just joined us, you're in for a ride. I'm not saying the other 200 odd episodes are no good, because they are brilliant. But we're up leveling around here. So deciding to change. Cold hard truth, my love, is that you are responsible for where you are right now. Harsh, isn't it? You are responsible for everything that is happening right now. Now, apart from the fact that if you've got illness, I'm not going to say that you're responsible for that. But what's going on in your life, where you work, your house set up, family, everything. You are responsible for where you are right now. And if you are feeling unhappy with where you are right now, that is a hard pill to swallow, because if you are in the same band as me, or that I used to be in, about having a wonderful little pity party whenever I could, then listening to that is going to be difficult. I mean, who wants to hear that it's all of their fault for the pity and the misery that they're sitting in right now? I know I didn't back then, and I definitely was very allergic to the idea that potentially I could be avoiding joy. Crazy. And that misery was comfortable to me. Now, a lot of this comes from the book Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. If you haven't read it before, it's just one of the best, and it has definitely changed my life, the Big Leap, because what it did was taught me about the upper limit problem, that when things are going well, you may sabotage what's going on so that you can get back to a baseline of misery if that's what you are used to. I 100% very used to misery, and there was a significant point in my journey here, and I think Jackson must have been the birthday after I'd left education. So it might have been 2020, and yeah, it must have been. And it was Jackson's birthday, and we'd had an amazing day, really, really good day. I think we went to the zoo, and after that, it was just such a beautiful day. And after that day, I remember starting an argument with my husband. And I started that argument because I think the day had been too good. I know that I did. I started that argument because the day had been too good. And my doubt and my resistance and my fear of joy was saying, look, you've had a really joyful day. This is not familiar. Doesn't feel good. We need to sabotage it. We need to break it up, make it shit. And that's what I did. But I think I had started reading The Big Leap, and when I read that, I think it was the next day that I had this profound moment where I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I can see this pattern of behaviour. And it's deciding, and I want this episode, I want you to take away from the fact that there are moments in our life where we get to decide which route to take. And at that point, I decided to really step into this idea that I was comfort in misery. I was comfortable in misery because it was more familiar. I decided that I was going to buck against that trend, that feeling, because I wanted more out of my life. I wanted to be more successful. I wanted to be happier. I felt like there was more for me in this world that I was signing up to. And it was my choice that I wasn't doing that. And so I decided in that moment, right, I'm going to take this book and I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to step forward with it in such a powerful way that I'm never going to look back. And so I did. And though there have been periods of real discomfort, of where I've wanted to view things as a self, I've wanted to self-sabotage. I've wanted to have a pity party, and I've had to snap myself out of it. And I'm just saying, like, this is for scars, right? If you've got a scab, what I mean by that is if you're going through something painful and something is hurting, and it is hurting because feelings are supposed to be felt, that is still a scab. That is just, you're there, you're in the moment, and it's okay to hurt. I'm just giving you that permission. But there's also, if it's a scar and you have basically healed from it, and it's in the past and it's not your present, then we need to stop having a pity party about it. We need to stop bringing that life that we faced and that we've been through back into our present to weigh us down. You can choose to say that was in the past. Now, part of that healing process is when you do go on this journey of healing. And again, I'm not trying to be wishy-washy with this, because it directly relates to the business that you're running, because you can decide that your business is going to be successful, or you can continue having a pity party about stuff you can't change because it's in the past, and just appreciate that, be grateful for it, for the challenges that you've the skill set that you've got because of it. Like me and my mum have a very difficult relationship, and it hurts. But I can choose to go, oh, do you know what? I'm going to have a pity party about it all the time. Without going into detail, I don't need to go into detail, but I can choose to have a pity party about it. Or I can just go, do you know, if we didn't have that relationship the way it is, I wouldn't be the woman I'm proud to be today. And all the other shit that's happened, what am I going to do? There's no point in allowing myself to be dragged down. And also choosing not to have pity in my present life. Like I said in a previous episode, when I'm going through something and once it's a scar, I will share it with you. Of course, I share so much in this podcast and I will share it with you. I'm not sharing it with anybody else until it's a scar. But while it's still a scab, I'm processing it. I'm feeling the feelings. I'm taking my time with it. I'm not rushing myself, because I am worth feeling the feelings. And it's also healthier doing it like that. But I'm also, in that moment, grateful. In pain, you can still find gratitude. And that's what moves you forward, because I decide that I'm not going to let one part of my life dictate my whole story. I'm not going to let one Brussels sprout ruin a roast dinner. I've just smacked myself in the face. I thought that'll make a good little reel for the podcast. I just smacked myself in the face as I did it. You get to choose whether that Brussels sprout ruins your whole dinner. Now, if you love Brussels sprouts, good for you, but I don't. And you get to choose whether that Brussels sprout is going to ruin the whole dinner or it's just on the plate. You get to choose. And you know why? Why this is so important for right now, wherever you are in your business, you get to decide because you are responsible for where you are right now. And you are also responsible for the next step. What is that next chapter going to look like? How do you want to write it? Because I promise you, my love, that you have the power to write that chapter in whatever way you can. And if right now you're thinking, I don't know where to begin, let me make it easy for you. I've got my calendar open for 2 VIP days in April. Though saying that, I don't know if they're still there now because I've been a prepared Paula and recording. But if not, come and join me in May. VIP days for me are transformational because it's all in one go. But the depth of the work we do, because you get into a flow state of work, we're not in any rush. And so you can relax and really get to the bottom of what's getting you stuck, as well as making a really fucking solid plan to get you to where you want to be. Like planning the shit out of everything so that you can believe that it's not just possible, that it's inevitable. You can see that it's going to happen because we've planned it. You can see the processes, the strategy, how it's all going to work. Like those VIP days, like a puzzle. I'm actually working on some training resource around this. If you've got a puzzle, you've got the picture on the front. So you design that picture and you can see it. And then you want the pieces in the box. You want all of the pieces there. And that's what I can give you through a VIP day. We can find those missing pieces of the puzzle so you can complete the picture. Oh my God, I love VIP days so much. I've got 2 next week. I'm so excited. They are just, I think it's the power of seeing someone walk in one way and see him fly like a rocket out, like on the other side. It's just amazing. So excited. Okay, my loves. Right. I'm going to leave that there for today because I think it was pretty savage. And, I just want to tell you, you have got the power to change things. And I know sometimes for people that is like, they don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. And I understand that. It's difficult. It's challenging. You can't blame anybody else because when you realise it's only you getting in your own way and you can fix that, it means you've got to be successful. And that is another fear in all of itself. Fear of responsibility, fear that you're going to lose people, fear of this, fear of that. So then you have to ask yourself, what's your definition of success? Are you defining success by the picture you have in your head of what you think success is? Or can you write that too? Recreate a definition of success that matches you, because there are no rules. And this is what the best thing about being an entrepreneur and running your own business is. There are no rules. You get to write them. Have an amazingly productive day wherever you are.